Continue with our research proposals that were approved for this upcoming growing season. So we have Kaya Moore from Haggerty AgRobotics to walk us through what they will be doing with their research proposals this year. So Kaya, if you want to introduce yourself again to the group, I know a lot of people are familiar with you, but we do have a couple new faces.
Yeah, sure. Hi, everybody. I'm Kaya. I work for Haggerty, as Ashley mentioned. I'm the Innovation Farms Ontario manager. So, primarily, I oversee a lot of the Innovation Farms projects that happen here in Bothwell and Niagara. But I'm also going to be presenting on the research projects that we're doing in collaboration with the ARWG. So, I'll share my screen. I won't take too much of your guys' time this morning, as a lot of them kind of are just starting now. So I'm just going to kind of talk to you. Can you see my screen?
It's pulling up.
Okay,
We can see it now.
perfect. Oh, let me share.
If you click at the bottom right by the Zoom, I think that's the button. Yeah, that one there.
This?
That look, I think that's it.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll be talking about the 2026 projects and a little bit about last year's because some of them kind of carry over. How do I get this? So our projects for this year that we got funding for are the Oz at Simcoe Ontario Crops Research Centre. So that's a two-year project. So I'll be talking about kind of the differences between last year and this year. It's sliding on its own. There's the Farm Droid FD20 expansion. We're going to do a project with the Sherbix, the Precision Weed Control Unit, and Harvest Corp's Autonomous Asparagus Harvester. So for starters, last year we had the Oz at Simcoe, Ontario Crops Research Centre. Many of you probably saw it at the demo day. Essentially, for those of you who don't know, the Nile Oz is an electric autonomous tool carrier. The tasks that it was doing was planting, spraying a pre-emergent herbicide on the row, and cultivating between rows until the canopy closed for a squash plot. The objectives were to monitor machine productivity, efficiency, and human involvement, and assess logistics, usability, reliability, and economic feasibility. This year, we're going to continue this project by increasing the plot size from 1 to 5 acres. The project lead is Torin Boyle. Hopefully, he can come on here to talk about the project later on in the season once it's up and going. So primarily, we're increasing the plot size. We're also going to increase daily usage. So Torin is hoping to use the Oz in the morning, charge it for a couple hours in the middle of the day, and use it later on in the day while he leaves. We're going to compare a lot of the results from 2025 to 2026. So some of the data that we were collecting was area, time and work rates, labor time, so like supervision, maintenance, repair. We were tracking interventions. So how many times was Torin or one of our technicians from Haggerty going out and kind of fixing the machine or getting it unstuck? And we're also tracking what kinds of interventions were being used. So hopefully we'll see a decrease in interventions for this year. We also were tracking supervision levels last year, so we're aiming to have less supervision on the machine to kind of increase its autonomy. And then we did some experiments last year for stand counts and weeding efficiency. So we'll do those again just to see if the odds is kind of up to par with last year or ultimately better. Last year, Torrin did an economic feasibility and ROI study on the Oz. We're hoping to do that again and ideally see some better results as we're increasing the work area of the robot. I'm not going to go too in depth about any of the results from last year. I have a slide at the end of the slideshow linking all the research reports from last year so that if you guys want to kind of see some of those results, you can view that on your own time because I have done a number of presentations already on this. The next project is the FarmDroid FD20 seeder expansion. So many of you probably know what the FarmDroid is, but it's a solar-powered autonomous seeder and weeder unit. Over the last couple of years, it's been at Bradford, Ontario Crops Research Centre. This last year, it was also at Smith Gardens in Keswick, Ontario, so right by the research center, and it was doing a 7 acre plot of onions. This year, we've done an expansion on the cedar units, so we're hoping to increase its area size that's able to work. Some of the objectives of the study are to obviously increase the planting capacity to better match commercial production requirements. We want to quantify improvements in planting speed and acreage covered. So we're going from a 4 row to an 8 row configuration, which I have pictures of next. We're going to do some comparisons of the planting costs using the expanded FD20 from the original configuration. And if we're able to get some base data, also compare the planting costs of conventional planting to the FD20, and then evaluate the impact of expanded planting capacity and overall farm droid economic performance and adoption readiness. So here are some of the pictures of what has already kind of been happening over here. I think the farm droid is already up at the farm now. So these are the white kind of pieces here are the seeders. We used to have only 4 on the FD20, and now we have 8, and you can kind of see in this red box where the expansion happened. So 2 seeding units were added to each side. I can't speak very much on this, but Chuck's on the call, so if people have questions about this, we can talk about that after. The third project we're going to be doing is with the Sherbics. They had a presentation maybe late last year. They're a Quebec-based company, and their technology is a precision mechanical weeding implement that gets mounted to a tractor, as you can see in the picture. Why is a project like this needed? Many of you know there's rise in herbicide resistance and labor challenges, especially in horticulture. So we're going to test this on 5 different Ontario farms. I believe that the machine works on like lettuce, onions, carrots, and beets. There might be some more different kinds of vegetables that they work on, but primarily those 4. And we're going to bring the machine to each farm for 2 days, 1 day setup, 1 day trialing it, and then kind of move on. In terms of data collection, we're going to look at labor time, troubleshooting, and operational challenges, weed pressure level, so kind of before and after tests, similar to the ones that we did last year on some of the other equipment, operating speed, the amount of area covered in time, operating time, and the number of human interventions and reasons. Essentially, we're just testing whether or not this works, how it works, and we're going to be able to compare it across different farms. Yeah, so in terms of assessment, we're going to look at machine efficacy. So we're going to do weed count data, which will be used to calculate the average percentage of weeds removed and assess whether performance meets practical on-farm needs and expectations. We're going to look at performance across conditions. So the results will be compared across crops, soil types, and geographical locations to identify conditions where the technology performs best or faces limitations. Operational practicality, we're going to look at setup time, troubleshooting frequency, and human interventions, which will all be analyzed to assess labor demands and ease of use. And then grower feedback, so at each of the farms we'll get them to kind of give us some feedback on the equipment, how it could fit into their operations, if it was successful to them and why, and if they would consider adoption. Lastly, we have the Harvest Corp autonomous harvesting. So many of you have probably also seen this unit at some of the demo days. It is an autonomous asparagus harvester. Why it's needed, there's high labor, it's labor intensive and very high costs in asparagus harvesting. We're hoping to have this machine at Sunshine Asparagus in Thamesville. And in terms of data collection, we're going to do area harvested, harvest time, labor time, human interventions and observations, very similar to a lot of the other trials we've done in the past. And from Sunshine Asparagus, we're going to hope to gather some comparative data, so baseline hand picking operational costs, typical speed of hand picking, et cetera, to be able to compare this data, which was something that was really important for last year's studies and for this year as well. And then in terms of assessment, very similar to the last one, operational readiness, uh, what's the harvest speed, what's the maintenance and supervision requirements, and will it be used to assess the current state of autonomous asparagus harvesting technology? In terms of economic analysis, cost per acre for autonomous harvesting will be compared against conventional hand picking to estimate a return on investment for the machine. And then adoption impact. So the results will inform sunshine asparagus and other growers on the risks, benefits, and practicality of adopting autonomous harvesting systems. So last I threw in here a QR code, which if you're able to scan right now, great. If not, I can share this link in the chat. We have been uploading a lot of the past and present research that Haggerty is a part of between the working group, and there's also a tab on our website for Innovation Farms Ontario. If you're interested in looking at some of the results from last year and even just kind of checking in on this year's projects, we'll be trying to upload as much as we can there. As well as you might have seen recently that we've been posting a lot of like kind of 1 to 2 pager infographics about the research on the LinkedIns between Haggerty, WG, and the Innovation Farms Ontario LinkedIns. And that is all I have for you today. So thank you guys so much for listening.
Sure. Thanks, Kaya. We'll open it up to questions next. Um, So if anybody has any specific questions about any of the projects that Haggerty will be conducting this upcoming summer, feel free to raise your hand or, come off mute for that. I see Kai, you put a couple links in the, or sorry, Kate, sorry, put a couple links in the chat as well. So any questions about these projects? Okay. Is there anybody on the research? Oh, sorry, Jim, you have your hand up.
Sorry, I had to unmute myself. I was having some sound problems too. So I turned on my phone and then things all went wild when I was able to recover. I just wanted to mention to you that, and hi, hey, Ray, um, I just wanted to mention to you that I did with Chuck, we did a podcast together. So I will put that in our notes on the Robot Industry podcast. I'll put that on the notes. It was great. Chuck can like take over anytime. He was like excellent speaker and very one I really enjoyed. Also, I just got back from Mushroom Days in the Netherlands with Mycionics and had a very successful show. They did awesome. I was helping them on the marketing side, and uh, it was very well organized and orchestrated. They did really well. We got to go to a couple of mushroom farms and see what is happening from their side. It was really, really interesting experience. So anyway, if anybody has any questions, I'll just go offline and we can chat about it sometime. Thanks.
Perfect. Thanks, Jim. Um, okay, before we maybe jump back into some of those events, any questions for Kaya, or if any of the research subcommittee members want to talk about like what they liked about their proposals as well to help kind of give some context to this group. Okay, Neji, you can go.
Na Naji, yeah.
Naji, sorry.
No worries, no worries. Yeah, so I was Kate, so you had said that you had posted these or you had done presentations before on these projects in the past. I'm just wondering, is there like a link that where we could like do further reading on this, on the projects that you guys had proposed?
I could send you one. I don't know, actually, do you guys upload the past presentations onto anything for ARWG?
Yes, we have the past presentations on our working group website as well. So I can
Okay.
email you that. We're a little bit behind right now just because we have a vacancy for that. But we do have a lot of past presentations and we'll be working on getting back up to date on the other ones that are missing. So I'll send you that link after this call so you can take a look at past presentations. And then I know Kate, like I said, she dropped a link in for Haggerty's website as well, where they have some of the
Yeah.
past research that they've done as well.
Okay, that's perfect. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thanks. Okay, next, I believe Ismir, you have your hand up.
Yeah, hi everybody. I just want to share that we are also testing the Cervex in Quebec, and we are gonna do that in June. And also, we have already a protocol that has been developed by the Institute of Research of Quebec. So if this is interesting to you, Kaya, I can share it to you. We are gonna test in onions, and we have also a parallel project testing in garlic. So I just wanted to mention that,
Yeah, I would be interested if you can send me some information.
of
Thanks.
course.
I also like to mention that Izmir actually connected me to Sherbix last fall when I went to do a presentation in Quebec. So thank you.
You're welcome.
Perfect. Before we go to you, Sean, there's just a comment in the chat about the Disturbix one as well. Somebody mentioned that you might want to run it at the same speed that usually weeding operations and weed count is perfect parameter to collect, but cover may also play a role as well. So just comment for thought there.
Yeah, thanks.
Um, And Sean, we'll go to you next.
Good morning, and thank you, Kaya, for the presentation. I was just curious what type of weeds you were anticipating would be in the fields where you're testing the robots.
I think we don't really know at this point. Like there's going to be your typical pigweeds and other broadleaves. That's really what we're the most interested in. I think the ones that worry me the most are any kinds of grasses.
Hmm.
So we don't really know at this point.
Yep, thanks, that's fair.
I don't know if I had mentioned it in the presentation, but part of the research proposal as well is that we'll do like some kind of like hula hoop throws where we identify the weeds and count them before we run it over. So just to see if there's like a difference in which weeds it's actually targeting.
Awesome, thank you.
And then I think Caesar, you have your hand up next.
Yeah, it's a request. If I would love to be present when you try the Desher vax, that would be great if you are open to
Sure.
that.
Oh
And I
yeah.
can give you a hand doing the count. It can be quite annoying. So that's what I can offer in exchange. And I assume you're gonna be doing this soon. This probably is gonna be more effective on annual wheat. So, and they're already coming out. So,
Yeah. And we're trying to coordinate with Disherbix as to what the right times are, and I think Jeff is involved in this as well. So, did you did you get a chance to take a look at the verdant when you were out there?
oh yeah,
Did you see it yet? What did you
yeah.
think? What is your first impression?
What is my first impression? I'll be biased because I'll be definitely partial.
Hmm.
It looks amazing. Like the wheat detection, it's incredible. I was on the tractor and looking real time how it sees the wheat. It is slow though. And at some point we got into a weedy patch and it was going at half a mile per hour. Or that was the
Hmm.
recommended speed because it can adjust the recommended speed based on the wheat density. Otherwise, it cannot keep up. Um, it's not necessarily negative. I'm just saying that just to
Oh yeah,
adjust
we
the
have lots
expect
of weeds here.
that's the thing, right? And I think we learn as we go, but probably it's not a technology that will replace the pre-emergent treatments. And I think that's what they say. At least AgRobotics are very clear about that. It's not doesn't replace pre-emergent treatment. But because if that's the case, it's so slow that you're not be able to keep up with the acreage that you need to deal with.
Hmm.
But it's part of the learning curve, I think.
Yep.
But impressive, of course.
Good.
We'll,
No, this is
we'll
why
see.
we want people with impartiality looking at these things, so that they're used properly.
Yeah, exactly. Well, you have the right partner, so I think this season is gonna be very productive.
Good.
I spoke with the Walls this week as well, the owners of the sharpshooter, and the first thing he said to me was, in onions, it's a game changer. So I think the main concern has always been getting the weeds in that row, and it's doing a fantastic job of doing that.
Yeah, for sure. I know, no doubts.
Okay, there's another comment in the chat as well. Weed ID will take a lot of time. You might want to try Distribix at different weed densities growth or size in the field. Big weeds might be problematic pulling out as well. So just more comments for thoughts. Okay, any other comments or questions about any of the different technologies and research that Kaya presented?
So I'll add something here. So we had while Hassan just finished up his work with us before he heads for his master's, and he set up an FX block through function land at Haggerty. So we have these set up now. Thank you, Kate. And our intention is to upload all of the data that we are collecting with the machines into these function blocks. And then the idea would be that we can generate or analyze that data after the fact So this will be, whatever we can collect, whatever these machines will collect is going to go into the FX blocks, and we should be able to run some AI analysis on on the data. So imagery, weed counts, operational speeds, timing, whatever we can collect could go in there. We'll figure out what we're going to do with it afterwards. But I think we'll just start using the blocks for that. So more to come on that. And then this will be accessible, kind of from anywhere. So we're pretty interested in how that will work. So just giving the group a heads up as to that's where the data will live.
Brad, do you have your hand up?
Yeah, sorry, just shifting gears. I was looking at last year's report for the NIO Oz in the field and just looking at the ROI information because you mentioned you're hoping for better results this year. But it's substantially higher cost per acre than conventional methods, according to this, especially on the weed control side. But it also has notes here that labor was reduced by 25%, fuel was reduced by 8,600%. So where is the cost coming from? Why is it so much higher than conventional means?
You're still muted there, Kaya. There you go.
There you go. She got it.
I can speak on this a little bit. It was Torin from the research center who did the full analysis. But what we found across a lot of the different robots is that because of the nature of the fact that it was a trial and that the Oz was only on 1 acre, which you wouldn't typically buy a robot for just 1 acre.
Okay.
The costs, like the upfront costs of like renting or owning the robot is where it was kind of being driven up.
So
And
the
then on top of
costs
that, they didn't use it as much as they probably could have.
the costs are only compared across that 1 acre then. So as you
Yeah.
expand over thousands of acres, that obviously starts to
Yeah.
drop. So what are you
Yeah.
expecting to change this year in the research that might give you better results?
So I think the general theme is that just using the robot more. There's more opportunities where the robot could have been used at the Simcoe's in that plot that it didn't. And so that was the purpose of a 2-year trial when we set it up.
Okay.
And just more passes across the field, more acres per pass.
Okay.
And to give it a truer sense of what the ROI actually is.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Also to add, because I know that Torrin would probably mention this, is that we had a really hard time finding base like data to compare it to. Like there wasn't a side-by-side trial last year, and I don't think that there will be one this year either because just the logistics around that are very difficult at the research center. So getting like very like secure, like a lot of it was estimated, like on estimated conventional costs when there's probably like conventional costs are probably higher than what we are actually calculating. So that next year, I think he's already has a partner with a squash farm to get those costs, and they had agreed to giving him them, like what they track. But a lot of farms don't track these costs as closely as we would like them to, and then it's hard to kind of compare our trials to them, if that makes sense.
Yeah,
That is frustrating. You have these big enterprises that really have no idea what their cost per acre is in a lot of cases.
Yeah.
Well, and I think it's not just that. It's not just cost per acre. Not even just like inputs. It's also like tillage costs and all every little piece that like farmers in general don't track to that level of detail.
Yeah.
That we're sort of expecting. So
that's what makes it hard selling the technology is you're trying to present a value proposition, but there's no baseline for them to reference that off of. So
exactly.
All right, thank you.
Thanks. All right. Any other questions or discussion about the proposals? I think we've covered a lot of it. So I'm just going to lower that. Perfect. We'll go into the next part of our agenda, which is just a couple of project updates. So you might have seen in the past couple of agendas that our demo days was date to be announced. So I'm happy to announce the two dates we'll be doing this summer. So the first date will be our working group demo day, which will be at Simcoe Research Station with Torin there. That'll be on July 21st. So we'll start setting out some promotion for that, and registration will be open for that shortly. So stay tuned for that, but you can bookmark July 21st for that event. And then we will also be doing an Innovation Farms Ontario demo day at Haggerty Creek as well, and that will be on August 18th. Chuck, is there anything you want to add about that one, or other than the date? We're still early in the planning for that.
Yeah, I don't think I think Kaya has been working through those details. Essentially, we'll be doing a demonstration of the Innovation Farm tech. At on the one farm. So there'll be a comparison of essentially three different types of sampling information, all in the same field. So we kind of think that'll be a pretty interesting piece. We'll have some of the other Innovation Farm machinery that we're working with. A lot of sensor and analysis tools. That'll be the main focus of that.
Right, perfect. Okay,
More to come.
Like I said, same with the working group demo day and then Innovation Farm. Bookmark those dates. That's July 21st and August 18th. And then we'll be sharing out registration information shortly on that to get everybody signed up for that. And hopefully we'll see a lot of faces at those events as well. I think the next thing I was going to talk about was a couple of events, but I think Chuck, you might have covered that while I was having my technical issues. Jim, you did mention Mushroom Days. Was there anything else you wanted to add about that experience? Oh, you're on mute. There we go.
Trying to find that unmute button. It was really interesting, different culturally, different experience. It would talk about a really unique bunch of community coming together, about the equipment makers, the compost makers. It was really very interesting from my perspective, and it was really good for Mycionics. They brought 5 different robots in there, trying to convince the community about the efficacy of using really fast-moving automation. And of course, there was also the other competitor to Mycionics is called Forage out in Salmon Arm, BC. They were there too, so we got a chance to interact with them. A really interesting experience from all sides, and also visiting Holland was really neat from a personal experience too. So I really enjoyed both parts, and they did really, really well, which was exciting.
Perfect. Thanks. Did you notice anything different compared to a European event like that compared to ones you've gone to in Canada or the States?
Yeah, I did. There's lots of different cultural things. It certainly is a really tight community. When you're driving around the Netherlands in the area we were south of Amsterdam in a town called Sint-Hurtenbosch or Den Bosch, lots and lots of mushroom farms. They're small ones, a lot of small ones, and they're different. They're the shelf system versus a new type of mushroom farming called drawer system, which is fairly new. And they're trying to get everybody to commit to this because it works really well with automation. So the big problem that they have everywhere in mushroom farms is the high cost of labor, and that's the thing that everyone's trying to shoot down. The other part, which is really interesting, is the amount of vision and AI that is going to be used in mushrooms, because they track them right from being a very small mushroom, which is called a pin, all the way to the pickable mushroom, which is 30, 40 millimeters size or bigger if the customers want them. So interesting to see that this is something that they're tracking every single mushroom in a mushroom farm. And I tell you, that is a lot of mushrooms.
Perfect. Thanks. I think we already talked about a couple of the other events that have happened over the last little bit. Jeff, I heard you talking about CPMA, and I think we talked about the Discovery X as well. So I won't rehash that from earlier this meeting. Was there any other events that people have gone to since last week that we haven't talked about that you think it would be worth discussing with the group? Or do you have any like coming up that isn't on the agenda that you've seen as well that you think people should be aware of?
Hey, this is Mark Lederber. There's a meeting coming up in Detroit across the river in about 10 days called Exponential. Starts with an X. And it's an autonomy, general autonomy. I think it's mostly industrial focused, but I know the ag drone industry is planning to make a fairly strong presence there.
Okay, cool. We can add that to our list as well. I'll look into that. Will you be attending that event?
I am, and Mike Rinke is speaking. I know that at least three of the drone manufacturers, Pika, Central Services, and I think Sarah's are all planning to be there.
Okay, perfect. I'll find it and look into it and see if it's a good fit to add to our agenda. But if it's next week, it might be too late to add to
No,
our
it's
agenda.
the 11th through the 14th, I
Okay,
think.
perfect. 11th to the 14th. That's helpful. Okay, I'll take a look at that and add it to our future agendas as well. Um, and then I think that's it for the events that I had on my list here. Just gonna take a quick look here.
We're having an event at Sandy Shore Farms,
Okay.
June 2nd. The rain day is June 3rd, and so that'll be a sunset show. We're gonna take the verdant out and put some fluorescent dye in it, and we'll look at it through UV light. So it'll be later night event. Once the details get firmed up, we'll share some literature on that.
Okay, perfect. I'll connect with you on that, and then we can share that out with the group as well. Okay, no, these are great events. And we always want to make sure everybody in the group is aware of them because we kind of all work in slightly different areas of robotics as well. So again, keep on bringing them up during the group here so people are aware, so we can promote it for the organizations as well. So moving off of events, there was a couple of robotics news that I put in the agenda as well. Congrats to Appatronics. They've acquired another robotic company as well as they're building out their food robotic solution as well. So feel free to check out that news article in the agenda. Other than that, that is the end of our formal agenda. So we can have some roundtable discussion, which I feel like we've had a lot of really great roundtable earlier. Garson.
Thanks, Ashley. I just wanted to reiterate something that I brought up initially at the summit, and that is that we are actively recruiting experts in their field as external reviewers for our competitions at Kane. And I'll put some information in the chat for everyone. And particularly, we're looking for more producers to join our pool. This doesn't mean that we would hand any individual 20 applications to look over. They would be very specific, but we are actively looking for more producers or to engage with more producers in our process. So if anyone's on the call is interested in participating in our process, please contact me, and I'll put my information in the chat again.
Perfect. If you just want to send me an email with that as well, I can add it to our agenda because we do have people who read the agenda every week. They're just not able to come. So to kind of share it out to a broader group, we can help with that as well.
Great. Thanks, Ashley.
Perfect. Okay. So in regards to the open forum, I think we've kind of shifted into that naturally. Is there anything that anybody's had any challenges on over the last couple of weeks or coming up? Or is there anything that you're looking for specifically support on as well? Okay, I think it's going to be a bit of a shorter meeting today, which is not a problem. And just one last reminder before we wrap up, we are looking for experts on AI to possibly join a panel or to start the discussion on it. So I've had a couple people reach out to me directly. So if you know of somebody you think would be a good fit for that, whether they join these calls or not, feel free to connect me with them as we're planning out what that will look like for the working group too, whether it's a subcommittee or a panel or a little bit of everything for this as well. Okay, I see Garson dropped his information in the chat as well, so feel free to reach out to him directly if you have a external reviewer in mind for him. Okay, other than that, have a great weekend, and then we will reconvene next week. Thanks, everybody.
Bye. Thank you.
Bye.